Right then, no rest for the wicked. Manchester United are back in action very, very, very quickly, and we are facing another tricky opposition for us. We've got Brighton. Brighton currently sitting ninth in the table, 3 draws, 2 wins in their last 5 games. Only Wolves and Spurs have beat them in their last 10 games. They are fallible, but they're tricky, and Potter's obviously doing a sensational job. I think let's talk about how they play a little bit. So I think through all the constant change tactically that this Brighton side's gone through, it's incredible how they've managed to have some of the best possession stats in the league, especially considering the resources and the players that's at their disposal. I think one of the big things about them is they've got one of the soundest defensive structures, and Potter's also managed to not just keep them up, but keep them in the top half of the table for the majority of this season. The formation that they play the most is 3-4-2-1, but they're extremely adaptable, and their formation can and does change depending on who their opposition is. They're just about the only team in world football that seemingly change shape, formation, and personnel based on the opposition every single time, and they do it without any consequence in a negative aspect. It's effective for them. All of Potter's players are flexible, versatile, and capable of not only playing but understanding several different positions in several different formations, which is sensational. And I don't know if it's because no European football gives him that extra time to really go into the detail on the training ground, whether he's got a particular attentive set of players, but it's incredible what he's doing, and he has my utmost respect for that. Offensively, they are a possession-based team. They like to play through the thirds methodically, and they play good football, but they're also adept at longer passing too and being a bit more direct when it's necessary, and they create triangles and plus ones all over the pitch with 1-2s, intricate play in the final third in and around the box. Defensively, they love to make it a low or even a mid-block, and they're compact between the lines, and they limit the opposition ability of pressing out wide through the centre. They commonly adopt a 4-4-2 out of possession, or even a 4-4-1-1, which obviously drops back in to make that extra man in midfield, someone usually tending to pick up the 6. You'll probably also see them, though, with a back 3, that quite often a lot of these formations are going to look like a 5-4-1, or 5-3-2, or even a 5-3-1-1. Now he's playing a back 3, or what I expect will be a back 3 against United. Regardless of the shape, the principles are the same though, and the distance between the lines is minimal, and they always defend collectively as a unit, sliding fantastically left to right. And I've got to be honest, I'm extremely impressed. Predicted 11, I think it'll be Sanchez, Veltman, Dunk, Webster, Lamptey, Bissouma, Moda, Cucurella, McAllister, Trossard, and Maupai up front. And a star man, it's Bissouma, one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, potentially even in Europe, extremely well-rounded. Everything Brighton do goes through him, and he's vital defensively. He actually leads the league in percentage of dribblers tackled with 81.3%. So don't run anywhere near him because he will clamp you. Attribute-wise, it's a combination of all of our midfielders put together plus a little bit more. Not only does he like to snuff out the danger, but he's got pace. He can drive the team up the field, turning defence into attack. He's a phenomenal transition player both ways. He's one of the best dribbling midfielders in Europe. Statistically, he uses it well to escape out of tight areas. He really plays intelligent football, and that's what I love about him. He's in the 90th percentile for dribbles completed per 90 in Europe, which you just wouldn't have assumed looking at his play style. As a team, Brighton are 4th in the league when it comes to possession, more than United. They're only behind City, Liverpool, and Chelsea, which is sensational. They're the 5th worst scoring record in the league. They've only scored 25 goals this season, but they also have the 5th best defence in the league, only conceding 23, which is why they're bang mid-table. Same as last season, if they could score some more goals, they'd be an absolute nightmare because the structure is there for them. What they do though with the mid-block, they have applied the 3rd most pressures in the final third with 913, so they're only behind City and Liverpool. So even if they're mid-blocking, they're still aggressively pressing you in it. They're efficient at progressing the ball up the field. They have 4,311 touches in the attacking third this season, and once again, only Liverpool, City and Chelsea have more. I don't think it's an exaggeration to suggest that if they had any competent strikers whatsoever, they would be an absolute nightmare to deal with. Genuinely, they'd be they'd smash us if they had the firepower that even United have got, I would say, at the moment. So how do we beat them? Starting 11 wise, I would go with as follows: De Gea in net. Because they play a back three, and I'm anticipating a back three, what you're looking for from your forward three is a little bit of a narrowing in. Try to get 1v1 against that back three, and then you have to push your full-backs up, really, to one, deal with their wing-backs, and two, also try to exploit the width. And then you're looking for your 2-8s to sort of fill in the little gaps in the middle and find an overload somewhere. So for that reason, and other reasons, let's be honest with ourselves, Tellez and Delo as my wing-backs. Lindelof is coming in for Maguire, please, alongside Varane. Midfield then, I think McTominay, Pogba and Bruno. My worry is about these guys getting overrun. Positionally, out of possession, I do think United can struggle with this midfield three, but there's not really a hell of a lot of options, so we're just going to roll with it. I think Alanga deserves a start. Sancho absolutely deserves a start. And because God knows what's going on with Cavani at the moment, it's going to have to be Ronaldo up front, even though he's in a little bit of poor form. The way United beat these lot is pressing and counter-attacking. Brighton's possession and the way that they like to dictate does leave them vulnerable to the counter. They do have a line that likes to creep up to the halfway line. They will play out, so you know there's an opportunity to try and press them because that's going to be their default, where most of the chances they concede comes from is from them not correctly, fully playing out. Lamptey can be caught high up the field because he loves to attack. Bissouma's going to run the game in midfield. We might as well just get used to it. Pogba being able to go physically on him might be something that United can do. Bruno has to come and play a lot deeper than he typically does and gives us a bit of an option. And the left-hand side has to be switched on defensively. And I'm hoping Sancho and Tellez can sort of double up a little bit there because Lamptey down our left is a massive concern. Trossard is one of the most dynamic and creative players. He likes to pull off into that sort of space. The problem that we've got, and this is why I think it's got to be Lindelof alongside Varane, they're going to use pace. This could be a real end-to-end game of football, and that doesn't suit Maguire and Shaw. Far too often they're facing their own goal. Far too often their defensive positioning leaves a lot to be desired, and I don't want to match up our biggest weakness with their biggest strength. Prediction-wise, I don't even like to say at the moment. We're so random, aren't we, that I wouldn't like to put any money on it whatsoever, but I'm going to say United win, and I think we can keep a clean sheet if we go with the defence that I'm saying. If it's Maguire and Shaw, I'll be surprised. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.